What's up guys, my name's Tom, welcome back to another video, and today we're here for another episode of my F1 2021 career mode, episode 13. Today is time for the Mexican Grand Prix. I know, it's been a while since the last time that we were in this career mode series. The thing is, I've been super busy with my personal things, so first I want to apologize to you guys. I'm gonna try to bring this series more consistently, so once again, I hope you guys understand. But anyway, today is time for the Russian Grand Prix, and you can see that unfortunately one of upgrades failed for the aero department, which is not the best news in the world, let's be honest. You can see that we have a huge gap to the second worst team, which actually is Alpine. It's not anymore Williams, and it failed another one, so this is going pretty smoothly today. The second upgrade failure of this episode, and then another one, but now it's from the engine. What is happening at this factory? I don't know, but the thing is, things are not going well for us for the Mexican Grand Prix. So it was expected to be 4 upgrades, and we had 3 failures. Thankfully we managed to save one from the aero, but still it's super disappointing. I don't know what is happening at the factory. And you can see that we are level with Williams. Alfa Romeo is jumping a lot, now super close to the lights of the Alpines and the Aston Martins. Red Bull catching Mercedes, but about us, we're still in last place, but we could have been easily ahead of Williams, but unfortunately it's not the case. And we're going into the Russian Grand Prix with a Russian car. Let's be honest, it's more Russian than American, and that should have more upgrades. And yeah, it's going to be another struggle. I don't like this track. I think no one likes this track. Probably now because we had an awesome race in this year's real life season. Practice wise, we finished in P19. I didn't do any qualifying sim program, it wasn't scheduled for this weekend. So let's see, let's head into qualifying. The practice pace has been looking decent, at least the race pace simulations, and but generally that doesn't tell the whole story. So we need to rely on our car, on ourselves, give it everything, and hope for the best. And here we are on qualifying. Let's see if we can get out of Q1. It's not going to be that easy. I've been struggling for pace, so you can see a bit of understeer is the main thing so far in this weekend. Missing a little bit in the apex on that right hand corner and braking super hard into the 90-degree, going a little bit deep. That is going to compromise a little bit. Here is super easy to lose the back end, as now we have just 2 corners left. Through the final corner we go, put the throttle as early as you can across the line, and for the time being it is just P7, P9, as some guys already finished their lap, and I decided to go for another one. This is still in the same set. I managed to put a bit of more fuel in order to make 2 more laps, in order to get used to the light car, to the soft tires. And here we go through the last corner, not even a tenth of improvement, but it's enough to put us ahead of George Russell, which splits now the 2 Haas cars. So qualifying is being more than the same. You can see P17, we are actually not very far from Esteban Ocon. I think Verstappen on the danger zone, but that won't be a problem. He still has time to set another time, cutting a little bit the corner there, using too much the track limits at the exit, but we're going to keep it up. 1/10 up comparing to our previous best. We'll see if we can get into Q2. It's not going to be easy. You can see losing a little bit of time there, but then we regained a little bit, so once again a bit of a track extending, I'm not gonna lie. But what can I say, this track really offers to cut corners, to extract track limits. That's another reason that I don't like this track. It doesn't have gravel traps, doesn't have grass to punish you if you go off the track. But anyway, we'll see what he can do with half a lap to go. We are in P17. Our teammate Mick Schumacher, I think, gained some places, and at the moment he finds himself into the qualification times, into the second phase of qualifying. What about us? We are improving by 1.5 tenths of a second, as now we're going to brake really hard into the 90-degree corner. This time was much better. We didn't go as deep as it was on the first run. Make sure to put the throttle here as early as you can. However, you need to be careful. It's super easy to lose the back end. Now we have just a few corners to go, and we're gaining buckets and buckets of time through the final sector. 3 tenths up, now just 2 corners to go. We'll see where this is going to put us through the final corner and across the line. 4 tenths of improvement, and for the time being it is P15, so we are through for the time being into Q2. So this is great news for us, but there are still some guys setting some lap times, and we need to do another lap, otherwise it is qualifying over for us. And we skip a little bit forward, we are already down into P17. Schumacher goes 18 fastest, and we're losing time as now we hit the curb and we get launched into the air, and unfortunately that is over. Qualifying is over for us. Because of this, I mount that curb so bad that the car got launched, and I'm gonna have a back pain in a day or two. I don't know, because that looks super painful. You can see I cut that corner, that's such a curb. The curbs in this game are, you know, we all know how the curbs are in this game, and they have it. At least we out-qualified our teammate, so it's not the end of the world. Unfortunately, is not enough once again to get us through into Q2. So that is unfortunate, but I did what I could, and that lap was being a bit messy, so I didn't have that much hope to improve on that lap. But anyway, never say never in Formula 1. Let's go on to the race. Generally, my race pace is better than the qualifying pace, so there's still some good chances to have, you know, a successful Sunday. So without further ado, let's go to Sunday for the Russian Grand Prix.
Welcome one and all to today's Grand Prix here in southern Russia. A beautiful location besides the Black Sea, and a race that has historically been dominated by the Silver Arrows. Mercedes have won here 6 times since the first race in 2014. Can someone else muscle in on that record here today? Situated just 3 miles from the Georgian border, the 3.6 miles Sochi Autodrome has 2 notable overtaking opportunities into turn 1 and then turn 13. 18 corners in total here, 12 to the right and 6 to the left, and it's an average lap speed of around 130 miles per hour. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Sainz, Sergio Perez and Leclerc, Ricciardo, Gasly, Tsunoda and Fernando Alonso. Bottas, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Stroll, Sebastian Vettel and Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Ocon, Thomas and George Russell, Latifi and Mick Schumacher. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Thanks Jeffrey, and welcome guys to the Russian Grand Prix, starting in P17 with some great penalties on the table. However, it's not enough to put us, you know, a few places ahead. Strategy wise, it is an easy one stop as always in Russia. Tire wear is not much of a big deal around here. Starting us off switching to the mediums. Maybe I could try to switch from the mediums to the softs, but let's go with this strategy. Let's take a look at strategy from the other guys. It seems that so far everyone is starting on the softs, including the guys outside of the top 10, with the exception of the Williams cars, which are starting on the medium tire. So interesting strategy. They are the only ones going with the alternate one, so I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to do over the course of these next 27 laps as we're getting ready for the Russian Grand Prix with the Mercedes once again on pole position. 5 red lights and it's lights out and away. Great launch, as you can see, already ahead of Esteban Ocon. Brilliant start from us, as now we're gaining some slipstream of the 2 Alfa Romeos, Giovinazzi and Raikkonen going side by side. What is going to be about us? Are we going to send in one down the inside into the first corner? Yes, side by side we go with the 2 Alfa Romeos. Who's going to be the biggest winner? Already cleared Giovinazzi, and Raikkonen gets a good run around the inside. We lost a bit the back end, and you can see that confirmation that we made contact with Raikkonen. Thankfully, we didn't have any throttling damage, as I'm asking Jeff for the vehicle condition to make sure that we don't have any sort of damage. And we are up into P15, if I am not wrong, with Raikkonen ahead, and with the 2 Aston Martin looking way down the other as well for the Williams, for the Alpine I should say, of Esteban Ocon. We find a lot Ocon at the back of the field so far in this season, which is quite weird to say the least, as now everyone is going slow, because you can see that the train is starting to perform. I think it is a McLaren and a Red Bull going at it, and look at the train. This might allow us to make some moves. It will depend on the slipstream that we're going to get from these guys. So gaining and gaining on Raikkonen, and they have it side by side, and this is the reason that we have a huge train. Sochi tends to, you know, form, you know, slipstream trains where it doesn't offer that much overtaking. Speaking of the slipstream, apologies. Right outside we go. We're trying to go off Sebastian Vettel. Are we going to be able to make this move? Yes, we do, and we are up into P12. Great start from us, putting a Haas up into P12 with still 20 runners in this race. As now the two Astons are going at it. Vettel, Perez and Norris are going side by side, down inside, which he doesn't do so. This is I think it's Norris that is trying to overtake the Red Bull, who is going to have the better traction. Meanwhile, this is the man that is leading this race, Max Verstappen. Hamilton must have, you know, a terrible start. He's down into P3, and this race is super important for him because now, at this moment, Bottas finds himself comfortably in this championship, as now Vettel goes down inside, and there's nothing that I can do. Try to do the switchback, but Vettel parks pretty beautifully in the apex. But now we have good speed on the inside line. We go through the long left-hander. Vettel squeezing us extremely, so aggressively, and you can see that he gets a pretty bad run through that right-hander, and we regain that position. Let's take a look at the replay. Vettel not giving us any room whatsoever. Then he locks up a little bit, and he has a snap of oversteer or something because he scrubs aggressively to the, you know, to the left. You can see in the steering wheel. Meanwhile, down inside goes Lewis Hamilton. This should be a pretty easy move on the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. Sainz gets a good run, so it seems that going side by side, but the Hamilton really needs to catch Verstappen. You can see Mercedes versus Ferrari giving me a lot of 2017-18 vibes, and like I was saying, Hamilton, this race is super important for him because at the moment Bottas is super comfortable in the championship. He's outside of the points. It's so crucial for Hamilton to get as many points as he can in the best case scenario, winning the race and getting the fastest lap. But Hamilton is still trying to overtake the Ferrari. Right outside, he tries to go, and I think he gets a good run, but Sainz somehow finds a way to still find himself side by side with the Mercedes. In the meanwhile, Sergio Perez is catching these guys, so we might see Perez trying to overtake Hamilton and Sainz. I don't know, but Sainz has the DRS to make things even worse for the Mercedes. And who's going to be the biggest winner? It never ends. They've been side by side for almost half a lap. Hamilton, will he get the better run around the outside? No! Sainz sticks to the inside line, but finally, Hamilton gets released. But look at the train that these two formed in just the space of one lap. It's absolutely unbelievable. You can see on the leaderboard Bottas still in P11. It's not been a good afternoon so far for Bottas after taking a grid penalty. Bottas even in the game taking grid penalties. So F1 2021 realistic game 100% confirmed as Stroll tries to go on the inside, and we defended that pretty aggressively. I'm not gonna lie, maybe that was too much for him. From me, I should say, as now I have a huge tank stopper, so maybe that is some karma, and this will allow Stroll to make a move on us as he's gaining. Look at the Mercedes power as well, the speed deficit because of that exit, and Stroll gets up into P13. So this is the consequence of getting a beastly start on a weak car. You get a lot of positions on lap 1, however you will suffer on the next ones because you don't have the pace to defend, and you lose position lap after lap, and I think that is going to happen to us. However, we still have some DRS, some Stroll, as now we're gaining. We're going to try to go around that side. Now we're going to try to do the switchback. Stroll parks the car pretty beautifully on the apex, and yeah, kudos to Stroll, pretty good defensive, and that left us a bit vulnerable to Raikkonen, as now we're stopping lap 8, and now we're definitely vulnerable to Raikkonen, as now he makes the move, and we might be vulnerable as well to his teammate, Italian Jesus, trying to go around that side. Look how confident he is on the brakes. Raikkonen locks up, and we somehow manage to defend from the Alfa Romeo, from the other Alfa Romeo, and we remain ourselves in P15. We drop a position, so we dropped into P15. Now we are up into P14 because Lance Stroll is out of the race, so I forgot to show you that, so apologies for that. Anyway, this is Antonio Giovinazzi gaining and gaining on us. You can see the yellow flags because of Lance Stroll, confirmation that he's out of the race, and Giovinazzi makes the move. However, I'm going to try to defend up the inside, so giving everything to defend his position. However, we dodged and we spin round, and we're round in a Russian Grand Prix. We are in last place. We crashed with Giovinazzi. Giovinazzi is still in this race. We are still... in this race, but the safety car has been deployed, and I'm afraid to say that that was my fault. Anyway, these guys are pulling into the pits. And you want to know the best thing? The guys ahead of this train stayed out because the safety car timing, basically, so they're switching to the mediums. However, considering that we still have to respect the delta, and we're not going to gain that much time, at least I'm expecting that we'll see Schumacher is pulling into the pits, and it will be a double stack for Haas. It will be as well for Alfa Romeo. It's been a lot of double stacks so far, but that won't matter because we'll be still in last place on this race. But what a turn of events. I don't know, we don't have flow damage, we don't have bargeboard damage, so I think we are being a lucky boy in this Grand Prix. This is Sebastian Vettel in P12, and this is the first run that made a stop. It's Kimi Raikkonen in P13, but we still have to respect the delta, so I think, like I was saying, we're not going to make huge gains on the guys ahead of us. But this is the reason why we have a safety car. We made contact with Giovinazzi, and I'm afraid to say, like I said, I think that was my fault. I think I turned too aggressively into Giovinazzi. We're going to see my POV to see if we have a clear revision. We're going to see Giovinazzi as well. So here I was aggressive already, and yeah, it seems that I turned too much to the left hand side, and the contact was inevitable. I was trying and trying to defend the position, but unfortunately I pushed too hard. You can see I squeezed so much Gio there, but then yeah, I didn't leave any sort of space, and the contact was inevitable, and in the process he lost the front wing. Meanwhile, these are the guys that are pitting. They still have to pit. This is still during the safety car. This is Hamilton being massively held up by these guys. And Sergio Perez, even worse, he can't exit the pit box because of the McLaren double stack. He finally gets released. I bet that Perez was dying inside because that was so long. And this is the man Charles Leclerc stayed out. And he's already behind the safety car. Gasly, Tsunoda, Alonso, Bottas, Vettel, these guys stayed out. They are not pitting, so if they pit now, they will be screwed. They will be outside of the top 10. I dare to say, that they will be in last place. So I don't know what Ferrari is doing. I don't know what AlphaTauri is doing. The only thing that I know that this is the end of lap 12, and this Grand Prix will get underway, and Leclerc is still in the lead. We're going to have a look at that in any time soon. Meanwhile, we have to focus on these guys. This is Nicola Latifi ahead of us. He's on the hardest comparative tyre. I can tell you already that George Russell is on the hards as well. I don't know what Williams is doing, but what matters is that we have the pace advantage against these guys. Down inside we go off to Latifi. He doesn't give us any resistance whatsoever on those hard tires. I think that is the last tire that you want to race at the track like Sochi. Meanwhile, this is a few moments ahead. Charles Leclerc leads the Grand Prix, followed by two AlphaTauris. At the moment, it is a double podium for Italy because these cars are Italian. However, they still have to pit. This is in the same lap. Leclerc pits, Gasly pits, Tsunoda, Alonso, and I think Bottas pits as well. So this means that everyone will get a free 6 positions. If I'm not wrong, Raikkonen is up into P7. And the Schumacher is up into P10. What a race is being at the moment, and it's because of these guys. I don't know what the strategies have been doing so far in this race, but I'll take that every single day of the week because we have a great chance of finishing on the points, and Russell is on points. However, he's on the hards as well, so he'll find a hard time to defend that position, and Leclerc is 16 seconds behind us. They will have loads of pace, as now down inside we go of Giovinazzi. This time there is no contact, but like I was saying, Leclerc is 16 seconds behind us. However, these guys will be so fast on new tires, on faster cars, so the points are not guaranteed in this race. Here comes Mick Schumacher on George Russell, trying to go around the outside. This is for points. These two guys are on the points, and Schumacher squeezed so much Russell that will allow us to give us a chance to go on the inside. No, because Russell gets good momentum around the outside. These two guys are still going at it. Russell maintains the position. Schumacher is doing everything, but he doesn't have enough legs to make the move on the Williams. Now down inside goes Giovinazzi. We're going to try to hold a run inside, which we do so, putting the full wheels off to the track. So Michael Masi should be furious at the moment. Gio still trying to go, but it doesn't do anything on the inside. We defend that pretty beautifully by going around the outside. But what a race is being at the moment for the back markers. This is a super important race as well for us, because Raikkonen, our rival in the constructors, is on up into P7. Down inside goes Schumacher on Russell, and this time is going to be Schumacher trying to go around the inside through the long left-hander. We are with a good view, so I'm grabbing my popcorn and eating it, because this is great to see. You love to see. This is great for the sport. Russell locks up, and he doesn't have a good run through that corner, and now Schumacher is ahead of the Williams. Now he's at task to overtake the brick, which we do so, and we are up into P10. At the moment, it is a double points finish, I should say, for Haas. The last time that this happened in my career mode series, it was back at round 4 at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. But we have this problem called Charles Leclerc, Gasly, Bottas, Alonso, Vettel, Tsunoda dropped a lot of positions. These guys are a big problem, as now Hamilton is gaining and gaining on Verstappen. This is for the race lead. Verstappen trying to get Red Bull's first win of the season. Yeah, it's weird to say, Red Bull hasn't won so far in this season, and they are going side by side through the long left-hander. Who's going to be the winner? Who will win this race? We have to wait, as Sainz might have a chance to join this party. Super close to the top 2, as now Hamilton tries to go around the inside. Verstappen sticks to the inside, and you can see they're starting to form a huge strain. So I think it's safe to say that is anyone's guess who will win this race. They can make contact, and the unexpected winner can be one of McLaren's, maybe Sainz. I don't know, it's anyone's guess, as they're still going at it. This is a copycat battle of what was with Hamilton versus Sainz in the early stages of the Grand Prix. Who has DRS? I think it is Max Verstappen. Hamilton doesn't have it, so it's going to be even harder to overtake Verstappen, as now Verstappen is ahead of Hamilton, and I think one of McLaren's tried to send one up the inside of Hamilton, but it wasn't enough, and now it is Norris trying to go around the inside, of which he does so on Carlos Sainz, but I think it's not over yet, as Verstappen still in the lead of this race. This is fantastic stuff. I watched such a great race at a track like Sochi, which yeah, is kind of realistic, because in this year's race we had a banger of a one. Anyway, drag race between Leclerc and George Russell. Leclerc gets the move done, and this is the stage of the race where the guys you know, had a bad strategy are starting to make the moves on the back marks. We are the next victim of Charles Leclerc. However, you can see that I'm not making a move on Schumacher, and this is a strategical move for me, because I have DRS, I have the slipstream. This track has a lot of straights, as now Schumacher locks up, so I'm using Schumacher as a tow. I'm sacrificing myself, and in that way we're not going to lose that much time for the faster guys, and we have better chances of getting a double points finish. As I'm saying that, we have 6 laps to go, and Leclerc is smelling our gearbox. Gasly is almost smelling my gearbox. Bottas in the background trying to make a move on the AlphaTauri, but what is going to be about us, because Leclerc is super close to us, he's gaining and gaining. This is the battle for P10, and we are super close of losing points in this race, but somehow I managed to get ahead of Leclerc, but I don't know for how many laps I'm going to handle this pressure, because I know that I'm slower, I know that I have slower tires, but at the moment I'm defending super hard, and maybe trying to you know, make things easier for Schumacher and see if we can get out of this race with some points in the bag. And once again, Leclerc doesn't make the move on us, as I'm squeezing him very aggressively to the outside side of the track. So maybe being a little bit aggressive, I don't know. We have some yellow flags, so it seems that someone is in trouble. A slow car, it is Raikkonen! Raikkonen! What has happened to Kimi Raikkonen? Literally in the middle of the track. That was super close to put my race to an end, and I think that is Bottas trying to overtake Leclerc. Yes, so another Mercedes v Ferrari battle in this Russian Grand Prix. This is beautiful to see. It's great to see Mercedes versus Ferrari once again. But what has happened to this man, Kimi Raikkonen? It was running in P7. Oh no, he spun on its own. That's what happens when you're Vettel's teammate at Ferrari. I don't know what I'm saying, but Raikkonen, that is so unfortunate for Raikkonen, but yeah, definitely a mistake for him. And now, this is unacceptable. He swerves aggressively to the right hand side of the track. That was super close to put my race to an early end. That was ridiculous. Ridiculous from Raikkonen. I don't know how we're still in this race, but thankfully we are, because now we are up into P9. Schumacher is up into P8. This is his best finishing position at the moment. As now Bottas trying to go around the side. We made contact with Bottas. The Mercedes losing the front wing. What has happened to Valtteri Bottas? What has happened to us? Who's its fault? But look at Bottas crawling and crawling with no front wing, let's say like that. That is Bottas's race over for points. This is big things in the championship, and this is the reason why. I don't know, maybe I squeezed him too much, but he still had a bit of room. As you can see, we're watching this through parts, but then here I start to turn a little bit onto the left because I was more focused on Schumacher than on Bottas. So I'm afraid to say that was my fault, but why did Bottas risk that move? He has the car, he has the pace, so I don't know. I don't know what to say, but this is Leclerc and Tsunoda pitting as well, so we have wing damage. You can see that Leclerc doesn't have a full front wing, and the same can be said to Tsunoda. And there is Bottas pitting, that is logical, but this is a huge plus for us because we won't be in that much pressure. We will be from Pierre Gasly maybe on the last lap. Speaking of last lap, this is Lewis Hamilton through the final corner as he wins the Russian Grand Prix. What a race from the Brit, and this will mean big things in the championship. Verstappen has to settle down for second, still didn't win so far in this race, and Norris crosses the line in P3. But for us, I think it is safe. Gasly is not close enough. It will be Haas's first double score points since the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. What a race it was. This will put us comfortably in the Constructors' Championship. It's actually crazy to believe that all of this happened because of the safety car caused by myself and Giovinazzi. It was my fault that we are in this, so yeah, I don't know, I don't have a penalty, but anyway, weaving because we are so happy. Through the final corner we go. It is points, baby.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
A great race then, and a fantastic win here in Sochi. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
And there you have it. Even a crazy race, Hamilton wins. Anyway, yeah, it's kind of crazy to believe, kind of funny to believe that all of this happened because of my fault, because of the incident with Giovinazzi, but they have it. 6 points in the bag. You love to see it. For Haas, we are definitely comfortably ahead in the championship, ahead of the Alfa Romeo and Williams. There is Hamilton, 25 precious points versus the 0 that Bottas got. That is so important for the championship, for Hamilton's hope of revalidating the title. And there you have it, Schumacher up into P8. And yeah, that is kind of crazy to believe that this race kind of happened in a track like Sochi, but there you have it. And I think we played this pretty smartly when it comes to use Schumacher as a tow in order to not lose that much time from the faster guys. So this was a huge team effort, and the reward was more than deserved. 6 precious points on the constructor standings. Taking a look at the driver standings, Hamilton now is closer to Bottas with Norris in P3. Ricciardo gained a position on Charles Leclerc. As well for Esteban Ocon, it was looking to be another awful race from the Frenchman, but he gets up into P12 ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. For us, we're still in P15, and Schumacher gets up into P16 ahead of Kimi Raikkonen. So now the two Haases are ahead of the Alfa Romeos and the Williamses. And to be honest, if you ask me, I think it's realistic to say that we still have a good chance to finish ahead of Lance Stroll. But guys, that has been another episode of my F1 2021 career mode. I know I'm not being consistent with this series, but you have to understand that this series takes a lot of time to get ready, and I've been super busy with university. So I hope you guys understand. I'm going to try to find better ways to make a content more consistently. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, make sure to leave the like as well if you enjoyed this video. But that has been me for today. My name's Tom, and I'll see you guys for a brand new video next time. But for now, take care.